There is no doubt that social media has been one, if not the strongest influence on journalism as a whole. In 1995, most individuals were just starting to hear about chat rooms, let alone think any person could report breaking news to millions. No one knew it at the time, but in 2003, 2004, the launch of MySpace and Facebook would begin to change that way of thinking. Citizen journalism, the Boston Marathon bombing, April 15th, 2013. As the nation watched the story unfold, the authorities were also reaching out to the public for their help in capturing these terrorists. Unfortunately, what ended up happening after this plea was what was most concerning, especially to traditional-minded journalists. On the social media site Reddit, as more information developed, people started to become their own detective and shared their results of their sleuthing into personal lives of potential suspects. This resulted in the harassment of individuals and their families. The problem was they were wrong, and regrettably, by the time that was realized, it was too late, and unfortunately, the damage was done. While the individuals trying to help the authorities were probably well-intended and most likely genuine, that does not detract from the fact that these everyday citizens were not professional journalists. These citizens were not adhering to any kind of ethical code of journalism, such as seeking the truth by fact-checking and ensuring accuracy, minimizing harm, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally, and definitely being sure to not purposely and knowingly defame one's character. Not being mindful or adhering to this philosophy can potentially ruin someone's life. At the 2014 Web Summit Conference in Dublin, some of the better respected reporting agencies convened and talked about social media and its effect on reporting and journalism as we know it. During the conference, panel member Kevin Sutcliffe, head of news programming EU at Vice News, said, "Twitter to us is a news source. Things break on Twitter." According to Pew Research, about 30% of American adults use Facebook as their go-to news source. 10% use YouTube, and about 8% of Twitter users As these numbers continue to rise, so does the acceptance of citizen journalism. News providers, executives, and the like are beginning to admit they can actually benefit from this. In the article of BBC's College of Journalism editor Matthew Ellington shares a speech from Kevin Backhart's deputy head of BBC Newsroom, where he said, "There are three key, highly valuable roles that social media plays in journalism: news gathering, audience engagement, and a platform for content." Take, for example, news gathering, where Backer said, "It helps us to gather more information and sometimes better material. We can find wider ranges of voices and ideas and eyewitnesses quickly." Anne-Marie Tomczak, who works for BBC as a presenter and producer, stated, "It's not just journalists who are asking lots of questions about what's being shared online. Social media users have become really discerning about what they're seeing." That means that readers are being held and accountable for what's being reported. This means that while we want need for information seems immediate, people are slowly learning the value of reporting the truth. In conclusion, Tomczak shared her thoughts about the future of social media and its effect on journalism. "I truly believe that chat apps are and will be increasingly become the place in which we will distribute our news, and the place in which we find stories, and the place where we can gather news. Social media is a place for political, cultural, and social change, and it is also one of the newest weapons in war."